I have been honored and quite frankly humbled to have been the mayor of the great city of Canton for the past 3 years plus, elected 4 years ago. It's an unbelievable experience. When people ask me how it is to be mayor, I tell them, you know, it's exciting, frustrating, challenging, ridiculous, exciting, crazy, but it has been one of the most fabulous experiences of my life. And I have to say that I'm truly honored to have been able to have served the people of our city. You know, when I ran 4 years ago, I ran because I was frustrated, like many of you. I was frustrated by the difficulties and challenges that our city had faced over the many years, many years prior to me taking office. You know, we've seen deterioration of our jobs in our neighborhoods, our schools. You know, we've seen so much frustration out there of wanting things to be better, but not seeming to go in that direction. And so I took a pledge that I was going to do everything in my power to make Canton better. That I was going to work to revitalize our city, to make our city safer, to help improve our schools, to improve the neighborhoods, and to bring jobs back to our community. And I'm proud to say that we have been very successful in many of those areas. But we have a lot of work to do. And although we've been working and improving and reforming, we know that that was just laying the foundation for what's to come. And we know that Canton is on the path to revitalization right now. We've turned the ship around and we're heading in the right direction. But we need more time to continue with these plans, to continue with this reform, to keep us moving forward. And that's why I'm announcing today that I'm running for another term for mayor. There's a few points that I'd like to touch on in reference to some of the things that we've accomplished and some of the things that we still hope to accomplish in the near future. First, I'm going to start out with the finances of the city of Canton. We have faced the most challenging economic time that any of us have seen in our lifetime. Since the Great Depression, our city, our state, our country has faced an economic downturn that is unlike anything else. And yet we've been able to not only endure, but we've been able to make it through these challenging times, cutting some $8 million on an annual basis in revenue and spending. And through all that, we've been able to make the decisions and the commitment to continue moving our city forward. We've been able to reduce that spending through attrition, not layoffs. We've been able to reduce that spending through working with the unions and the workers of our city, and together taking concessions to get through these challenging times. We've worked through that by restructuring government and reforming departments. And all in all, we went through this downturn over the last 3.5 years. We went through this downturn without laying off anybody. There are no city employees that are currently laid off. And we have not raised taxes. And it's been challenging. We've had a lot of help and we've worked very hard on it. But I can tell you this. We have learned an awful lot about dealing with the finances and the economic situation and balancing these budgets in challenging times. But we're not through the end of this downturn yet. Although the city's numbers seem to be leveling off and our taxes seem to be moving in the right direction and we felt like we have withstood this downturn, we know now that the pressures that are going to come upon our city and the townships and the communities throughout Ohio by the state's budget and the cuts that they're going to have to make, we know that there's going to be a second wave of a negative impact on our city when it comes to the finances. And I don't think this is the time to change leaders in reference to dealing with these challenges. We have the years of experience of dealing with these troubling times and finances, and we're prepared to address the future of what's to come over these next couple of years with what the state is going to address to us. And that's why I think it's important to look at a second term, because from the finances alone, we are prepared to deal with the negative impact that's coming from the state's downturn and what the governor has in store for us. So from a financial standpoint, we're feeling pretty good about what we've accomplished, but we know there's more challenges out there, and we're ready for them. When we look at the crime in education, jobs in the neighborhoods, those are the 4 pillars that I've been talking about from my campaign throughout my term as mayor. When we look at those 4 pillars and trying to revitalize our city, I think everybody can agree that probably the most important thing that we can do is create jobs so that the people here have an opportunity to provide a living wage and provide for their families. But in order for us to bring jobs to our community, we had some other issues that had to be addressed. The 2 biggest issues that we were facing over the past was the crime and the safety issues of our community, when we had nearly 20 straight years of increasing crime, and the reputation of the city of Canton of being unsafe. We also had a school system that was suffering and struggling. And at one point in time, not so long ago, we're graduating barely half of the students in our town. Now, who would want to come into a community and put a business in here if they have to put bars on their windows to do business? And who would want to move into our neighborhoods if their schools are going to go to, or if their kids are going to go to a school that they had a 50-50 chance of them graduating? Those were the challenges that were facing us not so long ago. But I'm proud to say that in the first 3 years of office, we've had 3 straight years of decreased crime for the first time on record. When I ran on zero tolerance, people said, well, what does that mean? And isn't that just a political stunt? Well, 3 straight years of decrease, cumulatively, crime is down 33% in the city of Canton in 3 years. 33%. And just for the sake of throwing another statistic at you, in 2010, last year, we had the lowest number of homicides on record going back over 50 years. But we know we have to keep that path going. We still have lots of work to do. We have made huge transitions and reformations in our structure of the police department and the way we go about addressing the criminal activity. And we've just started down that path, and we've got a lot of work to do, and we expect to be able to continue to bring crime down if we stay on course. And you look at education, our teachers, superintendent, the school board, parents, the whole community has taken this issue and said, we need to do better. And they have. And we've seen now 5, 6 straight years of increasing numbers when it comes to test scores and graduation rates. And the graduation rate for Kansas City schools right now is one of the highest of any of the big city schools, the inner city school districts that have struggled throughout our country. We have one of the highest performances now in the state of Ohio. And I'm proud to say that Timken High School has an 88% graduation rate and Healy a 92%. I know what you're saying, well, as mayor, I didn't do that. Yeah, you're right, I didn't do that. But I was a champion for supporting education and emphasizing the importance of it. And we also worked hard in cooperation with the schools to put programs together and ideas to bring emphasis and interest back. But we also worked to put together a scholarship program. And this is something that we have done and I'm extremely proud of. We partnered with 12 colleges and universities. In fact, the Canton Magazine is out here and it's got a full article in reference to this program, with the Mayor Scholarship Program. This Mayor Scholarship Program allows us to stand up here and tell you that every single child in the city of Canton that goes to a public school and graduates will have scholarship money available to them if they want it. Every child. A year ago when we started this, we had 5 colleges and universities. We're up to 12, and I want to continue expanding that to create more options and opportunity. But there is no other city out there in Ohio that can stand up and say that they've got a program that guarantees scholarship money for every child. And we do. That's the education side. Now, if you look at that, crime is going down, education is going up. Those are 2 extremely important issues in reference to having a livable, attractive community that people will want to bring businesses to and live in. The neighborhoods are another issue. We've been able to pave more roads, tear down more houses, and address the interest and the issues of the neighborhoods on a significant factor, more so than they've ever seen before. Why? Because we worked hard to bring in money, state money, federal dollars, stimulus money, We had a team that did nothing but work on bringing money to our city, and we brought in well over $100 million into our community through all these different programs and sources, and we've torn down hundreds of homes, paved miles of roads, and we've addressed needs in our community that haven't been seen in years. And we've turned around the direction of our neighborhoods. Instead of them being going in the backwards deteriorating method, we now have neighborhoods that are actually being revitalized and turned around, and they're seeing improvements, and you're seeing interest in those neighborhoods. And that's an exciting thing.